Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. I'm Rick Plaskett, a certified business and leadership coach here in Columbus, Ohio. And today my guest is John Reed. He is the founder and the owner of Ohio Estate Media. I'm going to let him explain a little bit about it, but he's got some really fun pieces of the business that he does. And I really like his mindset on why he is doing this business. But today we're going to talk with him a little bit about his business challenges, his best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to operate a business that is growing and providing for its owner. If this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so you get notifications of our future interviews. But John, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thanks for that awesome introduction. That sounded incredible and made me happy to hear it. That was really well written. Thanks for taking the time to make an introduction like that.
Oh, please stop. Please stop. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, give us and the audience a brief overview of how you got here, and then tell us what makes Ohio real estate media so special.
How I got here doing like photo and video, it's not like it was ever honestly a passion of mine. I actually got started, I literally bought a camera just because I was going on vacation and I wanted to take really cool photos of night skies out in like Arizona. So like I bought a professional camera, and at the time when I first bought a camera, again, like, it was never like I didn't go to college for it, wasn't passionate about it, happened to own one. Happened to own one, a little more expensive one. And decided in 2018, 2019, I wanted to just make additional revenue. And the way that I was doing that at first was Uber, like everyone, quick, easy money. And I met a guy named Calvin Hill. And Calvin coached Uber drivers how to make more money. But what he really did is he was a photographer who used rideshare as his lead generation for his photo business. I was like, that's a genius idea because you're meeting people in an easy format and people tell you their whole life story in a 20-minute drive. So I was like, okay, let's just try to make extra money with photography. And for the first year, I made $0. The second year, maybe made like $1,000. That's all while having a full-time job. And the third year, I started doing DoorDash and food photo shoots because during the pandemic, I got an email randomly from DoorDash and I thought it was scam that, they're reaching out to do food photo shoots. And at that time, it was $200 for 10 items and you might get to keep the food. And I was like, that is incredible. So during the pandemic, I didn't buy any groceries at all because I was just getting to take a lot of food photo shoots. I was even doing them on lunch. So I was like, this is awesome. So after about 9 months of the pandemic and doing food photography, which wasn't a passion, it was just a way to make extra money. I quit my job because I was making about the same amount working at a full-time job versus doing part-time food photography. And I didn't really have any plan. I was just like, I'm just going to do this because I have some rental cars with Turo. I'm making the same money, working less. And to shoot it straight, I wasn't even making like 100,000 a year or anything like that. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Let's just see what happens here. And in the meantime, I started getting unintentional real estate clients. I wasn't reaching out to them. They were just finding me saying, hey, can you take photos of a warehouse or pay you $75 for every warehouse you photograph? So I'd photograph 6 warehouses, make $75, providing a service, but not really like passion. I was just being a photo mill. I wasn't like actually doing anything besides doing jobs. Anyone could cut grass, anyone can take photos. But over the past few years, I kind of quit doing food photography because real estate's consistent, whether you're producing everyday photos or you're really working with clients to make the best image for their brand. It's just more consistent. And people are going to always outsource some aspect of their life. For example, I've been using a meal planning service because it keeps me in a calorie deficit. I don't have to think about anything. I could make my own food, but they provide value in exchange for money. And it's helped me lose weight with not having to think at all. Like it just gets the job done. So there's always going to be a need for photography for real estate to get the job done. And then some people are willing to pay more to have a personalized experience and one that feels like you're the top priority. But what really changed our business in the past few years is going all in on video. And I heard an analogy recently between a pastor and a business, and it was the word serving. So a lot of people say, like, we want to serve our clients, but I think service comes down to having goodwill in how you're serving without money involved. I'm not going to go in back and forth on a pastor, but typically a pastor is going to have goodwill to serve outside of money. And we have had done, when we've done a few free video shoots, here's what's happened. We've served that customer because we saw something, a customer who's never done video or whatever it is, but we were able to leave it all on the table, do videos that don't look like anything else. And what it did is it actually generates new leads to us because those videos don't look like anything else. And again, it's not like a huge group of people, just one or two people see that video and then they are ready to make a choice to spend their money because they want something like that. So really video is what's changed our ability to serve customers,
Mhm.
is because we want to drive the results. It's addicting because it's twofold. We serve them and then it serves us. So, a new customer comes from one of their sphere of influences or someone who kind of didn't really know them that well. So it's just because we enjoy it and we can leave it all on the table and because we breathe it, because I breathe it, we don't have a ton of customers. We sometimes look at my competition, I'm like, wow, they have, they probably make more than me gross revenue and deal with 200 customers, and I deal with less and make less, but I might charge 7 or 10,000 for one video, where this guy over here is doing 20 videos for 7 or $10,000. And it's like, you know
Mhm.
what? One of my good clients told me, your worth, but I had to hear it a couple times. I was like, you
Mhm.
know what? You're right. Like, ego aside, like, yes, I do know my worth, and it's serving in exchange for money, just like the meal prep service. It's like almost $300 a week, but it gets what I need done, and I don't have to think about it. It's like helping me achieve the goal, and like I don't have to spend any of my time doing what I'm not good at. Which, of course, I cook and still buy groceries, but I value the meal prep service.
You're spot on. The human nature pays for what they're committed to.
Yeah.
You, I, everybody else in America knows how to walk for 2 miles, do a push-up, do a sit-up. And yet, how many people really do, and how many people say they want to get in shape? And
Yeah.
then there's the people that say, "Ooh, I want to get in shape," usually around January as a New Year's resolution,
Yeah.
and they join a gym. But those that are really truly committed, those that are sitting there having a purpose that they can absolutely articulate why they want, they're going to pay for a personal trainer, pay for a meal plan that
Mhm.
gives you exactly the results that you want, and you have a value that is significantly higher than the cost of that meal plan. I'm
Mhm.
certain that your videos, when someone is paying you that much money for a video presentation of a piece of real estate, I'm sure that their return on investment is well above that, and they see that as the value. Would that be fair to say?
I'm thinking of these videos that I've shot. The one that was 7,000 most recently, it's like it was not even the most world class Airbnb. It was out in Gambier, Ohio, but it was a video to help draw people to Gambier. So it 100% served its purpose. Because even when I was there, I was like,
Hmm.
I kind of want to go kayaking and bike riding out here. Like it definitely served its purpose. So the people that are spending that money also think intentionally. They're not thinking of
Mhm.
it's a video. They're thinking of how it's going to serve them. So that's funny that that's like the key word, but like how it served them. It will probably bring them
Mhm.
their ideal clients that are willing to spend $1,400 for the weekend, to rent this property versus someone who wants to get it for $500. So I think it's twofold. The people that are spending the extra money know what intentions they have, which should be goodwill, but they know how it's going to serve them versus like, oh, like that's like 500 or that's like $1,000. I think that's how sometimes I jump too fast on spending money, but I'm like, okay, is this gonna like solve the problem? Like, yeah, okay, well, then what am I waiting for? I think
Right.
someone I used to when I worked in automotive, one of the technicians was really bad with communicating with people, but he would always say, buy once, cry once. I'm like, well, people don't want to spend money to repair their car. But I'm like, you're actually right. No, like, buy once, cry once. You got your car fixed. Like, it's all over.
Right. So let's back up a second and set the
Yeah,
stage for the viewers.
for sure.
And from that base foundation, we need to build back up. You've given us some great insight into your mindset of the vision of the business and what makes that mindset and relationship with your customers so special. But let's build the foundation a little
Sure.
bit. So to set the stage, what type of ownership structure do you have for the company? Are you the sole owner or are there outside investors?
It is just me.
Okay.
This year I've asked directly competition, like who I'm going to use a young word. Game recognizes game. There's been a few guys I've worked with that, like, I have a big project and I know I can't shoot vertical and horizontal in a 3 or 4 hour window. So I'll pay someone um, a portion of the cost, and because I
Mhm.
recognize that they're doing the same thing.
So
And
when it comes to
yeah,
the extra people that you're hiring,
yeah, it's like my
is
wife and like two editors, but
okay.
I would love to work with someone who has the same drive. I love for it to be more than what it is.
Okay, okay, that's fair. Um, when you look at your typical week,
Hmm.
how would you break down your time? I mean, you are the one in the
Hmm.
business, and everything that comes through the business has to go through you, correct?
I wish that it wasn't all through me. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not alone, John. You are
Yeah.
not alone. There are so many people, and many of my clients are just like that. They start out as a solopreneur and they want someone else to be
Yeah.
there with them. And you got to learn a whole new skill called managing other people than
Yeah.
just doing it yourself. But in where you are right now, percentage wise, how would you break down a average week of the time that you spend working in the business, doing the filming,
Mhm.
doing the editing, and doing the administrative shop stuff versus looking
Right.
at that strategic growth and saying, if I want to work with a partner,
Hmm.
what strategy, what plan do I need for 2026? How would you break that down?
So, like from the back end admin side, my wife does help with that. So some of
Okay.
that's photo editing, some of that's getting photos, videos uploaded to the website, organized and delivered. And I would say that's probably should probably take care of about 10 to 20% of like the admin work,
Okay.
as far as like paying service-based subscriptions for deliverable websites and stuff like that. There's some things that those are automatically set up, but probably about I do about 80% of the admin work, and depending on the week, it could actually be 90%. But I don't do it all because I don't have time. Sometimes I'm driving, so it's not possible.
Hmm.
But for the outreach, client communication, do about 90% of it. Some people utilize a VA for it, and I think I'd rather keep it inside the house. I don't think there's anything wrong with a VA. It really is like some of it is just like a button pushing task service,
Hmm.
you know. But as far as like editing, I don't edit every photo shoot anymore because it's just not humanly possible to give it all for video editing and to do photos. So I will use a photo editor for the majority of real estate shoots. If it's a commercial property, meaning an apartment complex that we're charging $1,000 for a nighttime 1 hour photo shoot, our take care of that because one, it's high ticket, low quantity of images. So the profit's there to deliver the best. So it just depends on the job. Everyday shoot that's 150, 250, 350, whatever it is. We're typically gonna use a photo editor that I've used honestly for the past 3 years. Built a good relationship with him. He's very consistent. He's as good, if not better than me almost always. But when it comes to commercial properties, I want to make sure that it is absolutely the best. And I can tell when they're taking a shortcut, and that has to do with using lighting, black flags to make the motion of the image look great. So photo editing, I probably about 90% hands off with that because he's very consistent. Unless it's a high ticket job, then I would do it. Because it's a repeatable process.
Mhm.
Like I've had people inquire about being a photo editor, and like honestly, it comes down to memorizing your Photoshop actions and playing those actions and then making small corrections. And I used to work in warehouses, and it's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're picking items, you're picking items, you're packing items. Photo editing is a process, and someone can get really good at it. And for most people, some people pay hourly, some people pay per image. We pay per image, and it's pretty reasonable. So I've kind of delegated that, unless it's a commercial shoot with a high ticket, like $5,000, then I'll take care of it. But even okay, here's numbers. Last $5,000 apartment shoot I did, we delivered 80 photos, so the margin was there for me to edit. And even if I took 3 or 4 hours, the margin was there. Like
Got it.
like I'm 3 or 4 hours editing, 8 hours on site, pretty good average hourly rate, more or less. Once you do the math, it's always more time than you actually think. But yeah, I mean, I probably do the majority of that photo editing, pretty hands off, and somewhat hands off on admin stuff. But I do
Okay.
a lot of stuff.
Okay. John, thank you for sharing that. You've set the foundation of what a typical week could look like for you. Now, I'm curious,
Mhm.
if you're focused on real estate market as your customer, what's your view of the real estate market here in Columbus for 2026?
I mean, see, so I work with investors, work with
Mhm.
agents who are focused on selling like $1 million properties. So I get to see $70,000 and $7 million homes. One, you could always say it's competitive, but it's what I'm trying to get in is what actually you had kind of brought up is like how do you make yourself have a high market value? Like what is it about you that's different? How do you serve and how do you serve when money, like obviously money is the driving factor, but like how do you internally serve me if money's not on the table? Um, and I think that like the market right now, like normally it's always slower during this time of year, but the people that have listings right now or that are busy right now had that seed sown 2 or 3 months ago. Like they are, or the people that are busy are ones that are relationship builders, the ones
Mhm.
that actually reach out, check in with their sphere of influence, ones that are obviously there for the money, but the ones that are there that care about the transaction and like the result that they're going to get for you. So I don't think I have like a really good opinion because I was for a second a couple weeks ago I was like, man, it's a little bit slower, but we're still doing like the same numbers.
Okay.
That we're doing about 40% more than last year with less people, maybe 30%. So
Okay.
I guess I'm not focused on people that I'm not. I guess I don't have a real opinion because I'm not focused on the people I'm not working with. The people that I'm
Well,
working with are
right.
consistent.
I mean, the reason I was asking is, the size of the pie.
Hmm.
If you see or your realtors are saying that the commercial market is growing and it's going to
Yeah,
grow even more next year,
yeah.
then as the owner of the business, you would be focused on growing at least as much. If the pie grows,
Hmm.
you've got to grow with that pie. If you're not growing, then your competition is taking your fair
Hmm.
share.
For sure.
If your customers are seeing the market withdraw, then that's a time that you need to expand your
Hmm.
piece of the pie,
Hmm.
or your bank account is going to result from it.
You're gonna withdraw, right?
So like I said, I was simply curious as to what your opinions were of
Yeah.
2026.
I know agents who really live and breathe it and can give you a great answer. I don't. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really have a good answer for that one.
Well, the reason, again, as a coach, I'm
Yeah.
sitting here asking that question, and the question behind that question for you specifically, John, would be if you had your best customers, your best
Mhm.
agents introduce you each to two more agents,
Mhm.
could you 3x your business and meet their needs and serve them with the results that they want without having to change what you do in the business some way, buy another truck or three more
Mhm.
cameras or whatever the case may be. Have you
Yeah,
have
they
you
were
thought of it or looked at it that way, or is
yeah.
is this something new to you?
Um, some of them have. Yeah, some of them definitely like referred us to their inner circle. And I think it's not so much like, oh, we need to buy more equipment. It's like need someone else who wants to do the same thing. Who wants to
Okay.
like who wants to at least make six figures, and he can. But actually wants to like have live and breathe the same thing. Like, how do we like serve our customer and drive results?
Hmm.
So like that's probably the only thing I've really thought of because I've had people reach out, but they're just kind of want to make some money on the side. Um, so so yeah, I mean that's as far as I've really thought on it. Like,
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. If I can coach you just for a second on the concept of hiring.
mhm,
When I lived in Atlanta, twice a year, I would bring my clients on a business field trip to
mhm,
Chick-fil-A headquarters. Everybody knows Chick-fil-A, everybody loves Chick-fil-A, and they gave free tours. So obviously they wanted to tell us about their chicken sandwich, their philanthropy, their spiritual focus and whatnot. But we also learned that the tour guides absolutely were charged with answering every question. And one of my clients asked, when I go to a Chick-fil-A restaurant, everybody always seems so happy. Here in your headquarters, people are just smiling and happy to be here. What's your secret? Well, they took us up to Dan Cathy's office, the son of the original founder of Chick-fil-A. And he gave me his three phases of what he hires for, and I've kept that for 18 years of coaching. And that was when he hires on character first. If their character aligns with his, if your new hire aligns with you and your company's values and beliefs, you're likely going to get along. And that's typically, if you're not aligned, that's going to show up somewhere in the working day, and that's
mhm,
going to lead to having to fire.
mhm,
The second thing, and he was so clear and so simple with this, he said, we hire on chemistry next. And he
mhm,
used the cell phone. He said, John, you call me and I see your name on my caller ID. Am I so excited to talk to you because I know it's going to make my day? It's going to be something uplifting. That's the type of people that they wanted to work. Says if your caller ID comes up and I'm looking at it and going, not today. I'll listen to that message later. That's not a good hire. So he hires on character first, chemistry second, and then what their ability is. So if they're a great videographer, if they're a great photo editor, that's the third thing that Chick-fil-A hires on. It's the first two. And you know what? As if I've coached many, many clients all through the years, those first two things are usually what they have to fire for. It's not that they messed up a job someplace or really told off a customer.
mhm,
It's one of those first two things that led to whatever it is that they had to fire for. So as you're looking at hiring and as you continue to grow and you're looking at bringing other people in, think of that. Do they have the same chemistry as you? Do they have the same character as you? And then you look at what values can they bring that are better than mine.
mhm, mhm. I hear that. I hear that for sure. I
Good.
think I've heard someone else say this. It's on point, but opposing to what you're saying. Some people quit jobs based off of leadership and not the job itself. So sometimes the chemistry is there, and after a while you realize it's not. It's like a relationship.
You work together on a regular basis. It is a relationship. It's not
Yeah.
like it is a relationship. And many times you're with people in that type of environment. You may not have to wake up next to them the next morning, but they definitely, you got to see them every single morning. And if you're the person that's signing the checks, let's build a community of people
Hmm.
that you want to be around.
Right. Yeah. I hear
Super,
that.
super. Hey, the next question, and again, kind of looking to the forward into the future, and you shared that, your future is, you're definitely going in that direction, but there's not a whole lot of substance to it yet in your mind. When I say the word goal and setting
Mhm.
a goal, do you have a goal for this year, and do you have a goal for 2026 as it's fast approaching?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay.
I had an ABC goal for this year. One's unrealistic, one is achievable, and one I almost hit. C goal was uh, to do 350. We were get close. We get close to it. Some guys honestly do that solo, like no one else. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like
Hmm.
that is insane. Like all the admin work, all the editing, all the scheduling, like that's insane. And like if someone else who has no support can do it, I'm like, I can do it. Getting pretty close. Um, B goal is to grow a team. A goal is to do 7 figures because there's
Okay.
people who do 7 figures with like a team of like probably less or right around 10. This year we did have one month that was like 45,000. Um, and I wish that was every month. So, but sometimes I'm like, you got to be cautious of like, okay, a commercial customer, Airbnb customer, we're going to charge more a real estate customer.
Hmm.
And someone who was coaching me, when I told him that I charged 7,000, he's like, "That's your new price." I'm like, "I'd love for that to be my new price," but
It can be for that particular segment of your business.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, take a look at every car lot in the country or just in Columbus here.
yeah,
I promise you, you can find cars on the lot for a few thousand, and then you can find cars on the lot for a few 100,000 as
yeah,
well. They're all cars. They all got a horn that goes beep, beep. It's just what meets your needs. So
yeah,
yes, you can do the exact same thing.
yeah. So those are my goals. Those are my
Okay.
ABC goals.
So I'm curious. I love your concept, and I appreciate what you have learned about ABC goals. Spot on. But what's your mindset? And let me set the stage for you.
Mhm.
If a goal that you set is something that you can achieve, you know how to achieve it, is it really a goal, or are you just going to put it on your to-do list and get it done? Or are each of your A, B, and C goals something that caused you to grow a little bit, caused you to stretch? Maybe you didn't know exactly what had to happen there, but you had to grow to achieve that goal. Is that your mindset, or have you set up your A and your B goal? You have to grow, but that C goal, that's the one that is a go or go home. What's your mindset?
So my mindset on goals. You ever learn another language? Have you ever learned another language?
Yes,
What'd you learn?
French.
You learned French. So how much did you have a goal to learn French, or were you forced to learn French?
It was a requirement in high school and in
Okay.
college. So, for 6 years, I was academically immersed in it. When I worked for John Deere and was traveling to France, I would show up the first day of the week and I wouldn't be able to even say my name. By the
Yeah.
end of the week, I was able to sit in a technical meeting and pretty much understand the gist of the meeting.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
fly home, forget
Yeah.
it all. And the
Yeah.
next time you show up in France, you couldn't order a bottle of wine.
So when I had a goal of learning Spanish, that's a great goal to learn Spanish. That sounds so good. You know what sucks? Is feeling like an idiot in front of adults because you can't articulate reason and logic. So how does that tie to like goals that I have right now? Like that goal of like 350, you know what that was? That was like staying up 20 hours in editing. I wasn't thinking you had to do that. You know what else it was? It was doing really good videos and then my customers going with someone else who's a direct competitor who I'm not friends with because they want to siphon them. Or part of that goal is how I was telling you about podcast equipment, having a client who signs a contract where I spend 15,000 on equipment to go all in on them and they start ghosting me. So sometimes the goal, you don't even know what the middle road is and what you're going to learn on the way there. That the goal is just like part of like a stepping stone to the next one. So I think you're kind of talking about like the C goal, like kind of passe, like, oh, like, I know I can achieve it. Yeah, I know I can achieve it. Like, what did I learn in like the meantime? One, I learned a lot more about contracts, like how to really aggressively assert them and how to build customers properly for work, which sharpens iron, which sharpens the process of like how I operate. So yeah, that's like a great, it's a great goal. But just like with learning Spanish, everything along the way, all the mistakes, all the embarrassment when you're not saying things correctly, you learn that, like, you learn how to fix it really fast. You learn not to make that same mistake twice. So did I ever learn Spanish 100%? No, but you know what? I have no problem going on trips and like speaking Spanish in any Latin country. And it gave me a little bit of leverage and some past jobs to be able to communicate some reasoning and logic, but it's because it was a goal that I wanted to accomplish. And I think one thing is, if you've ever lost weight, you've ever gotten into working out, you've ever learned a language, you're never satisfied with being satisfied. So that goal is just one part of like what you want to do, and everything in the middle was actually what you learned. The goal was just like, I'm not going to say a roadblock because that's the incorrect term. That was just something to keep you going. Just like the meal prepping, the goal weight's 199. Well, right now I'm on like a 24-hour fast and it sucks, but I'm learning a lot more about, I could probably go a little bit longer on it. So sometimes you have to have a goal to learn more in the meantime. Um, I think I think that's, I'm not sure if I'm on target with your answer, but that's my response
No,
to it.
you've absolutely shared it. Your view is looking at it as milestones,
Yeah.
but the spirit behind my question and the spirit behind what you just shared with us, John, is the level of commitment. If
Hmm.
you're if you're 100% into that commitment, I bet if you wanted to learn Spanish to travel, you learned it and you had one level of commitment. If your girlfriend that you wanted to become your wife only spoke Spanish, you'd be at a significantly different level of commitment, and your
Yeah.
Spanish would probably be a whole lot better. And
Yeah.
that's the understanding that I gain from working with my clients, is understanding when they say the word goal, what
Hmm.
is that level of commitment?
Hmm.
I promise you can walk down the streets of Columbus and see 100 people, and I promise there's 99 of them that are thinking their goal is to lose weight.
Hmm.
Well, what's their level of commitment? And you
Yeah.
just shared that. So I appreciate that. That drives and that gives the audience and gives definitely me an image of who and what is really driving the company and what you're wanting out of it. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thanks.
So,
Thanks for the question.
listen, we have covered a lot of ground, and you've
Yeah.
given us a lot of insight into your mindset and your drive for the business, and I really appreciate that. For those of you watching, I highly encourage you to come back and save this. Come back a few times and watch it, because John has really given us some really great nuggets on the mindset that is needed. He started out his whole story sharing kind of whimsically. Well, I thought I'd do this and then I did that, and this fell into my lap, and now I'm doing this. You know, it may seem like that, but you had a purpose and you had a commitment, and that really has gotten you to where you are today. And I congratulate you for that. I would question you to ask yourself, particularly as we get to the end of the year, and particularly as you look at the new year. Everybody likes to look at a new year as a fresh start. Do you really want to be the owner of this same company, just a do-over in 2026 of what you did for 2025? Or are your A and B goals now seeming a little more obtainable? You've grown into them, and they now require you to have a little more commitment. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't want to put those words in your mouth, but you've shared the drive that got you here, and I feel the passion as you share and look at, and I try and stretch you for what the future would look like. But listen, as we wrap up, we enter a section I'd like to call the rapid fire questions. I've got about 4 or 5 questions I want to ask you. I just want what's top of your mind, what's first of your mind. You ready for this? You settled in, got your
Fire 'em
seatbelt all
off.
set up?
Let's fire 'em
Super,
off.
super, super, super. John, what's the key to your success?
Can I cuss? Actually giving a shit when most people are just there to collect a paycheck.
Awesome. What's a piece of advice that you would give to another business owner?
Go all in and don't be afraid of failing forward.
Awesome. Awesome. What's a book that you're reading now or that you've read most recently that really excites you that you think I should read?
You should read. It's a book by Olympia Stone. Do you have any idea who that is?
No.
Politician. Not I'm not even a political guy, but it's a biography from Olympia Stone.
Really?
Yeah, it's very well written. Or
Okay.
honestly, if you were to read one and you wanted to feel like you were talking to your grandfather, it's the Dave Thomas book. Yeah.
Yes, I think I've read that one in long, long ago. Yes. Okay. If there was one area in your business that you could improve immediately and tomorrow it would be exactly what you want, what would that area of your business be?
That would be delegating actually doing photo shoots. That'd be having a team member who only does photo shoots and it's no longer on my plate. That's the conversation I've had like with twice in the past week.
So the field workers.
Yeah.
Okay. Super, super. So listen, before we get to the final question, if an audience member is wanting to become your very next customer and have
Mhm.
you shoot a video for them, or they want to get in touch with you because you've just given them a nugget of gold of wisdom, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of us, whether it's a website or any social platform, is Ohio Real Estate Media. So it's super easy and super simple to remember. And truthfully, we only want to work with clients who really actually want to drive results. Um, we don't want to waste your time or money or energy if you just don't want to. But here's the thing: we work with a lot of people who are older who have never been on camera, and I've spent as much as 4 hours to make sure what came out of their mouth was believable and undeniable. So that's one skill set my wife has told me I have is I'm very good at speaking on camera and helping people speak on camera. So, you know, work with a variety of age ranges, but we only work with people who want results.
Dude, I think I need you. I mean, I recently took professional photos, and it took much longer for me to crack a natural smile.
That is,
And
yeah,
and
that's another skill. Yeah,
and
that's
the
hard.
photographer really worked with me, really worked with me.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like first and second grade class pictures. Hi. Yeah,
yeah.
it was not good.
You want to know a quick secret to get people to smile? Say this word. Just say whiskey. If you say whiskey, you naturally smile. Or if you say money, you have a bigger smile. Cheese, your lip goes to like your teeth. Whether you drink whiskey or whether you like money, those two words work.
No, I like whiskey and I like money. So
Yeah.
no, those are going to be, I'm going to be thinking that in church and lipping money, money, money instead of, instead of singing the hymns.
Yeah. 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 Those words just work.
That's great. That's great, John. Hey, last question. What do you find most inspiring?
Probably I find most inspiring is like I said, someone told me the truth. Sometimes what I find most is inspiring is like hearing what I absolutely don't want to hear because then I want to prove people wrong, whether I ever see that person again. So sometimes just calling it like it is and hearing the opposing view of me might not react to it initially, but I will digest it. And if it's true, I will make it untrue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
John, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this journey. And thank you to the audience for watching. You know, if you were inspired by this, I would absolutely invite you to save this because John's just got the right mindset and drive for a successful business. Folks, make it a great day. Bye for now.